If you don't mind, I think what I would love if you could kind of walk us through a property, kind of a process, I guess. So
Sure.
I'm your buddy. I have I might be a board member. I might own a condo in a building that's heavy investors, and I want you to kind of explore with us what that looks like. Can you kind of walk us through high level of that process all the way up to going on the market and then kind of securing a buyer? Because the order seems kind of different. You explore it, you get somebody's approval, and then you put it on the market. So walk us through kind of that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. So a lot of times we'll be approached by someone within the association. That may be a property manager who manages the property and knows that there's a lot of deferred maintenance coming. It may be an attorney for the association. It may be the board president, or it may be just someone who owns a unit within the association. So the first thing that we're going to do is just kind of a smell test. If somebody comes, remember somebody called us once and they wanted us to deconvert a building where units were selling for $750,000. That was a simple no. We're good. It's not going to happen. So smell test, you want to make sure that the price per unit where you would need to be looking at the transactions is in line. You don't want to be much over 200,000 a door. Wherever you are, in the suburbs, in downtown, you can get higher. But then what we'll do is we'll go in and we will value the property. We'll get as much information as we can from the board. A lot of times they, very well run associations will know where all their leases are. So we'll at least be able to look and see, okay, these are the lease amounts within the association. If we can't find that, we go and we pull the information we can off of public records, and we build the rent roll. Like I mentioned to you guys, we build the income side, we build the expense side, we apply it, we look at the market capitalization rates, which is the cash flow of the property, and then we present to the board. So that's normally the first step. We tell the board, here's what it is. We leave it in their hands. A lot of times with the board is just doing their fiduciary duty. A lot of times we get called when somebody's already been approached and has an offer in their hand, and they want to make sure, is this a good offer? So a lot of times we get brought in just to consult on, should we consider engaging on this? And then we'll get brought in to actually negotiate higher offers a lot of times when that happens. So we give it to the board. The board has the right as the board to enter into contracts, so they can enter into a listing agreement with or without the consent of the rest of the association. We have found that can be a double-edged sword. One, you're never going to get consent, that everybody wants to go market the property. So in that regard, it's smart of them to actually push it out and say, let's get offers, and then we can have a conversation about sale. But the other side is people feel like the board wasn't being transparent, and now a property is being shopped that they had no knowledge of, and they feel that they're being essentially bamboozled. So our suggestion is always be transparent with ownership. Let them know early. So what we like to do is we come in and we hold a meeting for a couple of hours and go through the valuation, what this is, how it works, and really walk everybody through the process. And then a lot of times the association they'll go and they'll reconvene and they'll come back to us and say, yes, let's try to do this, or no, we didn't get the support we needed. It feels like it's pretty hostile. We're 50-50, and then no one's wasting their time. So it's really a big education process. And it's a lot of hand-holding, and it's a lot of walking through why you even consider doing this. So it definitely takes longer than a traditional deal, but they can be really fulfilling deals, because if you end up in a situation where people get a premium on their units and they can go trade into something down the street that's nicer, or if they're an investor, they're 1031ing into something similar with a lower basis, and you get a client who gets a good product, it's really rewarding to see everybody happy at the end of this.